Good morning from New York City. This morning, I am thinking about the word acknowledgement, and there are a couple reasons for it. I think one is related to the story I told on Monday about having received rejection letters on my job search and how good it felt to feel like I've been making progress because I was acknowledged. Even though it was a rejection, it felt good. Anyway, I was sitting down in the lobby of my building waiting for a friend to come pick me up to go to the theater the other day. And it was me and my favorite doorman, Mo. And I was sitting on the bench, and a family walked through. It was the mother and father around my age, and I think three adults. And after they walked out the door, Mo rolled his eyes at me. And I know very well that eye rolling is a very important sign of disdain. And Mo is a very discreet and professional and sort of a proper guy, right? I know him well. And I know he trusts me, but he's the kind of guy that doesn't cross a certain line, even while he and I have a very trusting, friendly relationship. So I said to him, "So who are those people? What floor are they on?" Just to open the conversation. And he ended up telling me that these people come in and out of the building and never say hello to him or acknowledge him in any way. And it was astonishing. He got all heated up and said to me, "I can be standing here completely alone. It's just them and me. And they never say hello or goodbye or thank you." And it got me thinking about two things. One is something I heard from a guy named Chris Voss, who wrote the book, Never Split the Difference. He teaches negotiating skills. He was a negotiator in high stakes hostage situations and then parlayed that experience teaching about negotiating in corporate scenarios. And then something that Oprah said, they are sort of two sides of the same coin. I'll start with Mr. Voss and say that one of the things that he teaches is that no matter what, when you come to the negotiating table and someone states their case or their asks or whatever you call it, the very first thing that needs to happen is to acknowledge what was just said. And he goes on to explain that they literally can't hear you until you've acknowledged that you heard what they said. He explains how people stay in their own head and stay in their own story. And once you acknowledge that you heard them, they come back and they're present and can hear you then when you speak. And the thing I heard Oprah say, I think she was being interviewed by David Rubenstein of Bloomberg. She was talking about in the 90s, she started noticing that every single guest, whether it was Barack Obama, Beyonce, or the man in prison for life for having killed his twin daughters, said the exact same thing at the end. "How'd I do? Was that okay?" She started really thinking about it. And she said, what they were saying to me was, "Did you hear me? Did you see me? Did what I say mean anything to you?" And she went on to say that she started to listen with the intention of validating people, with letting them know that your being here and you're speaking to me and taking the time to do this with me is important because you matter. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, except for to say this is universal. This need to be heard and acknowledged is a basic human need. And we get so much more out of life and out of people and out of our relationships when we validate people, when we acknowledge them, when we let them know they've been heard. So, for example, when you are in an argument with your partner or receiving the grievances from an employee or a coworker, the single most important thing you can do first, even if you're furious or feeling like you need to formulate a quick response, you need to stop yourself and acknowledge that you heard what they said. And that isn't always easy. I'm not sure how well I did with Mo the doorman, but I did listen. And I stopped myself from rushing in to bad talk those people because he just needed to be heard. And I did my best to acknowledge his frustration and to simply hear him out. Until next time, from my heart to yours.